Oh, no, no. I did it again. I did it again. The, what? Oh, look at that. No, no. Gosh darn it. I was trying to do the, I hope you can edit it later. I hope you can edit it later. Because I was trying to do the thing again, but the new CEO changed the system. So I guess I screwed up the thumbnail again. I have screwed up the thumbnail once more. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What's going on with the audio, by the way? There was a song. Oh, come on. Come on. Set up audio. No. If I'm charging the phone, there's no audio. You see, there you go. That's what I needed to hear. 104.3 My FM, Taylor Swift style. That's what was supposed to play, instead of the lawnmower or something that's going on in the background. Anyway, I screwed everything up today. Look at that. I started off with like the usual thumbnail, and instead, it started the live stream. Unbelievable. 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 Anyway, so today I actually made actually it was mostly like yesterday. I made an interesting discovery. So if you happen to not have a job for whatever reason, what they mean for proof of address is not just your name on whatever piece of mail. That's not good enough. That's not good enough for some websites that you want to work for. Apparently, they need the commercial banking partners, financial institutions that provide services require a KYC, Know Your Customer Compliance Program, which is a ridiculous piece of junk. But apparently, the things that you need to provide are something like utility bills, water, gas, electric, sewage, phone bills, internet cable bills, bank or credit card statements and stuff like that. And for them to be accepted or acceptable, they need to be accepted within, outside of an envelope dated with 90 days of being uploaded to your account or something like that. It says, please note that this document cannot be your photo ID and must come from a third party. I mean, they already asked for your like passports and maybe photo IDs and stuff like that. And on top of that, for the proof of address, it's not enough to have like a piece of mail with your name on it or multiple. You could have like, even if you showed them like 30 or 40 pieces of mail with your address on it, that's not good enough. It has to be a utility bill. Wow. Wow. This is what they are requesting for like whatever jobs online these days, or to open up like one of those Paxum or what is it, Cosmo payment accounts. This is unbelievable, guys. This is America today. Apparently this compliance thing that you need for the Know Your Customer thing, KYC is a thing in the modern world. This was never a thing like a few years ago. This was never a thing. So just letting you guys know, for all those people who want to get married and all that stuff, and you want to be dependent from another person. Wow. You are basically in America a second, possibly a third class citizen. Because of things like this. And when they say, oh no, we need more regulation, we need more government on our backs, this is what you run into, guys. This is what you run into. You can't even prove that you exist on social media without this, what is the dumb thing called again? Know Your Customers, which is KYC, Know Your Customer, which requires you to have bills, utility bills, phone bills, internet cable bills, bank or credit card statements, and it's not enough for them just to be what they are. It has to be dated within 90 days. Within 90 days. You can't pull up an old statement. For instance, if you were working before you got married and then you stopped working, you can only do this kind of thing if you basically within 90 days. Within 90 days. This is the ridiculousness of living in America today. That's how stupid we are. This is how we basically create and self-inflict pain and trauma to ourselves. And these stupid websites now. Oh my God. Can we believe how stupid social media has become? It used to be like, the internet used to be like free in the sense that, you know, you didn't always have to have your face, your passport, your everything on it in order to verify that you existed. You just existed. And you could do all kinds of things on the internet and it was fine. We've kind of ruined the internet, haven't we? Oh my. The internet is now a cesspool of crap. And you know, the problem is none of this stuff that has been implemented helps us keep the really evil, bad people that go after our children and stuff away. And I've recently posted a very, on the YouTube wall, I posted an example of people who are definitely after your children, and requesting certain things from your children that are completely inappropriate. And I am appalled that with stuff like the know your customer thing, the KYC, that might as well be the triple K at this point. They're not solving the problem of the really bad people doing those things to our children, and yet the people who might need to be able to access certain jobs or whatever because they're like dependent and stuff like that, they can't really verify themselves easily, which is like, what? I'm kind of surprised that this is the world that we live in today. But anyway, this is where the excessive regulation comes in, and it is quite troubling. Where are we going to go with this? It was kind of interesting yesterday. I do not like politics. I stay away from politics pretty much all the time. And in a couple of seconds, I'm going to start reading from these two books, which is why you came here. But I've got to say something that is kind of interesting that I discovered yesterday. And it is that I don't, as again, I stay away from politics. You don't have to worry about me voting in any elections. Don't have to worry about me being summoned for jury duty because they keep disqualifying me from that. So you don't have to be worried about me doing anything at all, government related. But yesterday I went and I did a quick search and I looked for recent Trump rallies. I'm going to get a lot of crap. For this today. But can I say it was kind of refreshing to see Donald Duck on the podium, and there was no talk of the radical left for once. That was nice. He went through an entire rally without calling out the radical left, which was one of the things that he probably should have never done in his rallies anyway. And it only worked the first time, but I guess maybe some of his strategists finally told him, like, brah, tone it down. So we didn't have anything about the radical left, and we didn't hear anything about the China virus. Thank goodness for that. So that was kind of refreshing. I think the guy, at the very least, was sticking to policies and wasn't going nuts about trying to anger the other half of the population. So that was pretty refreshing. I don't know where it's going to go with it, but yeah. Goodness gracious. It was refreshing to see him not tweetering, not doing any of the things that he did the first time around, which were ruffling feathers. Oh my gosh, there's some kind of bird right on top of the car right now. It kind of just went right on the windshield, and then it's like back out there. Anyway, it was kind of cool to see him be kind of humorous with the gotcha stuff. He said, like, it's been a world of April Fools, and it has. Look, like, you can't go to a national park without being April Fools. You need a permit to shoot regular videos of your own children, of your family, at a national park. That is the worst. You now need a Part 107, which is a certificate in order to make money with drones. That did not exist. That's April Fool's. What's the latest and greatest one they certain people are not allowed back into America because they may have done something on VR that is considered to be questionable by the government for some reason. Doesn't really understand what VR is. But anyway, they want to go to the next level where let's say you're going in video games and you're doing things in video games such as killing people in video games like Call of Duty or whatever, things like that. That is considered to be okay, but that can have, going into the future, that's going to have issues. That's going to have legal liability issues for the people who are playing video games. So you would rather those people go into the real world and shoot up places, or you prefer them to not have consequence and just do whatever they want in virtual reality or in video games, like on Steam games and stuff? I mean, personally, I prefer them to shoot up a storm. Again, I don't like any of those games. You don't see me play those platformers or those shooter games. But I'd much rather those people do that kind of stuff in reality, in the virtual reality, or in in video games, rather than mess up our lives in real life, like what we saw during like the riots. We saw the riots. They were burning down buildings. They were burning cars. They were like shooting up the streets. You don't want people shooting up schools and stuff. Let those people get their anger out in their video games, for the love of Pete. Anyway, so yeah, April Fools. Every day that I wake up in the industries that I care about anyway. I don't know about the other industries. I'm pretty sure they're coming after all the industries. But every day that I wake up, there's some new news going on, whether it's VR, whether it's drones, whether it may be 3D printing soon. 3D printing is not valuable enough yet that they're going to ask you to be certified 3D printing. But it's coming. It's just a matter of time. The second something becomes a little bit interesting, like drones was not really a thing, but it's become interesting now. And so slap on the certifications. Oh, guys, this was a beautiful land. Now, again, not a fan of Donald Trump, but back in the day when we didn't know that Donald Trump was doing the things that Donald Duck was doing with the tweeting and people going wild and all that stuff. Before all that happened, I used to enjoy watching political stuff. I used to watch political stuff with what's that guy's name? Trevor Noah. He would make fun of Trump and a bunch of other people. And then I would jump over to the other side, and I think I would watch, like, can't remember, it was Tucker Carlson or something. And it was hilarious. Like, I would laugh at all the stupid crap that the left people did and all the stupid crap that the right people did, and it was hilarious. Until I realized that bad things were actually happening in real life. It wasn't about what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So what happens on the TV screen is just funny. And then it started bringing stuff back from the screen into reality, and then that's when things went wild. But I think that it was kind of refreshing to see Donald Duck on a podium not saying the radical left, or that was the other one that he used, the Gina virus. Nobody should be talking about Ginas and viruses. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty refreshing. I'm not sure what the polls are doing, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's kind of all up in the air. And I really don't want, where's that book, that fantastic book? I don't really want DeSantis Ponti di Pilu. Please don't run. Don't run, don't limp. We all know you don't limp because he's fit, the guy's fit. But don't run, don't limp. just stay out of politics until the dinosaur era plays itself out. But yeah, I guess for once I looked at a rally that was Trump, and it wasn't as, I wouldn't say vulgar or anything, because his rallies never really vulgar in any particular way, but maybe wasn't as in your face as it used to be, and it looked like he was just running on policies with a couple of jokes that were actually quite funny for once, and they weren't all about attacking the other half of America. So that's pretty good. But anyway, again, not a fan of Donald Duck. Not advocating you should vote for Donald Duck, but it was refreshing to see that. Just like the other day, I was talking about Chris Cuomo. He has a new YouTube channel, and I was like, oh, look at that. He has Andrew Yang on there and a bunch of other people, and he's discussing a possibility of a third party. Again, the disaster of some of the other countries is they have too many parties, right? This country only has two. We could use a third. I wouldn't say fourth, a fifth, and right? It's important to have three. The trifecta is good. Some people who are very conservative like the idea of the family unit, right? Three. You got the mommy, you got the daddy, and you got the son or daughter. The trifecta, the winning trifecta. And the reason why you need that is because when the two parents are arguing, you need the third, like, arbiter in the middle, to keep the other two sane, on point, if you will. And so that's where we kind of need a third party in America. Do we need 4 parties, 5 parties? Hey, hold your horses. Don't go that route, because I've seen in Europe it's not the best either. But a three is a good number, where you have red and blue hashing it out, and you need a third party there to say, hey guys, you've gone too far either way. Come on, let's work it out. That's what America needs. But anyway, going 4 and 5, please no. Please no. Again, don't worry, guys. I've never voted in America. Before I was on a green card and on a visa, I would not vote because I did not want to be one of those illegals voting illegally in elections. Back in the day, remember when I sang the song, and I'm proud to be an American? I couldn't say that. I couldn't do that. I had to say, and I'm proud to live in America, where at least I know I'm free. But now that I've got a USA passport, I can say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. But for how long? For how long, guys? For how long? Until you guys vote for the wrong people and we screw everything that is left of our amazing country. Anyway, with that rant, guys, I'm going to jump into things. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we have another 4 years of Joe Obama. I don't know if we're going to be able to survive another 4 years of Joe Obama. Look at what's going on with the fentanyl crisis. How many of our beautiful American men, women, and non-binary are being killed by drugs every year? Look at what we're doing. Look at what the people that you voted for are doing with gas prices, taxes, and things. And those people who are living paycheck to paycheck, going to work is not even worth their time. It's not even worth their time because they're putting all their money in commuting and taxes. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. All right, so where do we get to? We got to risk measurement and risk management. And we're gotten into investment management, a science to teach or an art to learn. And guess what today? Today, it is nice and warm. Finally, I have been whining about it. But when you must give credit where credit is due. And today, it's beautiful. So if it persists, again, I was kind of doing things fast in the morning today, so I have no tie. But when we can get a consistent nice, how do you call that day? Like a persistent and consistent amount of days of sunlight, I will bring a tie. Because, as I said before, one of the things that I loved the most when I was traveling around with my dad on business was that I could wear a suit and tie, and I love that. And you don't have to see anything below this because this is the YouTube channel, so you don't have to see whether I'm wearing beautiful pants or not. Right now we got jeans, but it is what it is, right, guys? It is what it is. Right now I've got a nice suit on, and hopefully the suit will have a tie. We'll have a tie. Anyway, risk measurement and risk management. Risk measurement came under criticism for the oh, gosh darn, I gotta bite my tongue like Donald Trump. Let's try that again, guys. Risk measurement came under criticism for the inadequacy of the risk measures commonly used in investment management, prevalently VAR, and its focus on normal distributions and risk management. For the narrow scope of the risks it defines, commonly limited to a statistical measurement of market risk. Professor Leo, among others, questions the focus on normal distributions. He noted, a common confusion about market behavior stems from the fact that many of the applications presented in courses and books focus on the normal distribution. We have known for years, at least since Mandelbrot in the early 1960s, that the normal distribution is not a good model of asset behavior. But we still develop most of our examples around it because it is easy for the students to understand and only requires very limited knowledge of probability and statistics. A remedy would be to strengthen the treatment of quantitative methods so that academics can confidently show students other types of examples and models. Academics and an increasing number of practitioners do have the knowledge, yet going beyond normality is still not part of the standard portfolio management curriculum. This sentiment was expressed by others even before the financial crisis that began in the summer of 2007. In the preface to Fat-Tailed and Skewed Asset Return Distributions, Rachev et al., 2005, the authors wrote, the theory and practice of finance draws heavily on probability theory. A11 MBA programs prepare finance majors for their career in the profession by requiring one generalist course in probability theory and statistics, populated by all business majors. Excuse my humanity. Goodness gracious. While several probability distributions are covered in the course, the primary focus is on the normal of Gaussian distribution. Students find it easy to understand and apply the normal distribution, give them the expected value and standard deviation, and probability statements about outcomes can be easily made. Armed with the rudimentary knowledge of probability theory, finance students march into their elective courses in finance that introduce them to quantitative measures of risk, the standard deviation and the quantitative inputs needed to implement modern portfolio theory, the expected value or mean, and the standard deviation. In listing assumptions for most theories of finance, the first assumption on the list is often assume asset returns are normally distributed. The problem, however, is that empirical evidence does not support the assumption that many important variables in finance follow a normal distribution. Charles Chung, associate professor and director of the Master of Finance program at the Shanghai Advanced Institute of Finance, believes we are not teaching students a broad enough range of risk measures. He notes that although the largest collapses of the last 2 decades or so long-term capital management and the subprime mortgage crisis were in fixed income markets. Most of the literature, especially the investment text, focuses on equity markets and two-tailed risk. He argues that credit risk evaluation, he argues that credit risk evaluation, collapse models, and cross-market contagion should be more widely taught. Finally, as regard the narrow definition of risk, we have noted that the macroeconomic and geopolitical risk are also now on the radar screens of investment managers. Saker or Nusebe, 2012 CEO and head of investment at Hermes Fund Managers, believes that such economic variables as GDP and interest rates have become too shallow as measures of a country's risk-reward profile. He suggests that we need to take into consideration, among others, the actions of politicians. OMG. The question is, do some of our politicians deserve a second chance? Does someone like Donald Duck deserve a second chance? Does someone like Chris Cuomo deserve a second chance? It's not up to me to say I don't vote. You guys need to know and think about these things because you're the guys voting out there. Crises. The potential impact of crisis on a portfolio can be enormous, but crises do not have a place in mainstream finances yet. No investment strategy based on mainstream finance theory can, therefore, protect investors from market-wide crashes. Nevertheless, crises do occur. Friedman, 2012, noted that too many supposed 6 standard deviation or even 10 standard deviation events have occurred within recent decades for them to be considered 6 standard deviation events any longer. He argues that once this instability is recognized, the methodologies for managing assets change fundamentally. A key theory of market instability was described by Hyman Minsky. See, for example, The Stabilizing an Unstable Economy, 1986. Minsky's financial instability hypothesis is conceptually straightforward. The generation of excessive money produces asset inflation, which in turn creates instabilities that can lead to a crisis. Attempts are being made to develop Minsky's ideas into a comprehensive theory of market instabilities based on the theory of complex systems. ETH Zurich's Professor Didier Sornet argues that crises are predictable in probabilistic sense and that a number of signatures of oncoming crises can be recognized, including a faster than exponential growth rate of financial assets. Isn't it great to have a new CEO? With the old CEO, at least I had one person watching. With the old CEO, I had one person watching the show. Now it's 0. Wow, well done. Well done. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong. Please come back, Susan. Baby, come back. Anyway, I'm going to keep singing this song until the new CEO does something good to save the YouTube channels. Again, screwed up my thumbnail for this live stream today because of the new buttons of death. I thought I was sure I could press the second button again, but then something happened, and then boom, the live started. Never have I missed my previous boss as much as I have missed my previous boss now. I'm still stuck out of my iPhone 12 mini. It is now, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 days that I've been stuck out of my iPhone 12 mini. Again, out of my Market Reviews YouTube channel, which is what I'm using right now to make this video right now. But I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 days I've been stuck out of my iPhone 12 mini. I'm currently using my iPhone 13 mini. But my iPhone 12 still won't allow me to sign in. It says there's something wrong with viruses in it. I don't think there's such a thing as a virus in an iPhone product. YouTube, you suck. The new CEO has no idea what he's doing. Has no idea what he's doing. Anyway, do such theories have a place in programs that are forming risk management or managers? As a professor, Friedman, 2012, remarked, abandoning the rational expectations assumptions would be deeply subversive. But mispricing of assets and subsequent losses for their holders matters in themselves. For some reason, they put M. They put the M in mispricing. That's why I was hesitant on how to say the word. This is not good for the dyslexic people. So yeah, they put the M of mispricing in parentheses. In summary, most sources believe that today's mainstream theories will continue to be taught, at least as a framework for thinking, for several reasons. One is that no all-encompassing alternative theory exists. Another reason is that much competitive pressure is on schools to form students with a body of knowledge close to what is expected, the dominant thinking. Most sources note that the teaching of mainstream theories should be less dogmatic and point out potential pitfalls. Finally, attitudes toward crises and how to teach them can be placed in one school or another. According to one school of thinking, primarily the school advocating mainstream finance, crises are generated by unpredictable exogenous events. Modern economies, finance crises, generated by unpredictable exogenous events. Modern economies and markets recover rapidly from crises to crises are not a major subject of concern. According to the other school, crises are viewed as endogenous events caused by the accumulation of internal tensions, in particular, an excess generation of money. This school of thought holds that the probability of crises can be assumed or assessed, and that therefore the dynamics of crises should be an integral part of teaching for future investment professionals. Summarizes these conclusions. And I think politics plays a big role in the damage and the mess of markets. But until recently, we had no idea about that until it became known. I might say thanks to that Donald Duck, because he stirred up such a mess. During that time, and people actually opened their eyes and started putting two and two together. So some things are bad and some things are good. My professor at school said the best thing about you is also the worst thing about you. And he was right. The best thing about me is that I am earnest, honest. And the worst thing about me is that I'm earnest and honest, because my earnesty and my honesty gets me in trouble. And it is very, 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 very bad for when you are in the business field. In the business field, you cannot be honest all the time, because people will use that against you to get rid of you, to sabotage what you do at your office, in your office. And your career is going to be very short if you are good and honest all the time. I always underpromised and over-delivered when I was working. I always treated everybody around me with respect. I did not keep things to myself. I explained and helped people whenever I could. I tried to pick up the slack when other people were struggling. I gave it my all, and it didn't pay out at all. Anyway, so summary of opinions on the teaching of mainstream finance and investment management theory. Subject taught. Fundamentally correct, fundamentally wrong, but useful, fundamentally wrong, and useless. So this is a nice little system that explains certain things, and we're just going to read through that for you guys. So Exhibit 3.1, which is basically the summary of opinions on teaching of mainstream finance and investment management theory. So it says, on the subject taught, okay, this subject taught is mainstream economic and financial theory. It says under fundamentally correct, because mainstream theory is fundamentally correct, empirically faithful and useful, mainstream theory and the conceptual framework behind it should continue to be taught. Fundamentally wrong but useful. Although mainstream theory is an idealization that does not describe reality as it is, it offers a useful framework for thinking and should therefore continue to be taught, albeit with a warning, only a theory. Right? Okay. Fundamentally wrong and useless is what we're going to go into in a second after I... Goodness gracious. My humanity is strong today and must be excused. Despite the fact that mainstream theory is an idealization that does not describe reality as it is, there is no all-encompassing competing theory to teach. When it is taught, however, students should be made aware of its limitations and lack of empirical validation. All right, now we're going to talk about the subject of capital asset pricing model. In this case, it says fundamentally correct. The CAPM is a fundamental model that should be taught. Fundamentally wrong but useful. The CAPM has been empirically falsified by remains conceptually important and should be taught, if only for its historical importance in the development of asset pricing models. And then let's see what is fundamentally wrong and useless about it. The CAPM has been invalidated by numerous empirical studies and is fundamentally misleading, so it should not be taught except as regards to place in the history of asset pricing theory. Wow. It is nice to see that there are millions of people watching today. Thank you for watching. You know what? I'm going to need to... I'll say that after I finish talking about asset pricing theories, APTs, and efficient market hypothesis. What else have we got? We got risk and we've got crises. So I'll finish reading and then I'll talk about something real quick. So subject taught would be asset pricing theories, APTs. APTs are a great achievement of modern finance theory and are central to the teaching of finance. It says, what is fundamentally wrong but useful? So the first one was fundamentally correct. What I'm going to read now is fundamentally wrong but useful. Although empirically weak, APTs provide a useful conceptual framework for students of finance. Now we're going to talk about what is fundamentally wrong and useless. APTs are based on considering an infinite stream of future cash flows and therefore are not based on observables. Nevertheless, despite being scientifically weak, APTs have their place in curricula as providing a common language until we have a new, more scientifically based theory. So because there is no better way of doing it, then this still kind of needs to be taught. That's the idea. Subject taught, efficient market hypothesis. Let's see why it's fundamentally correct. The EMH is at the foundation of finance theory. It is almost a self-evident truth, and must in any finance program. So that's why they want you to be teaching this. Why is it fundamentally wrong but useful? The EMH is based on a solid conceptual foundation, but in practice, it is subject to important anomalies. It places the burden on active managers to show they are finding anomalies. Inefficient pricing should not be assumed. The EMH should be taught, but critically. So teach it, but with a grain of salt, as they say. And on this channel we bring the salt. So anyway, fundamentally wrong and useless. We got the EMH is void of meaning. The notion of theoretical prices is not based on observables. the EMH should be replaced by the notion of market forecastability and be taught as such. Now we're going to jump into Exhibit 3.1, which is a summary of opinions on the teaching of mainstream finance and investment management theory. But before I do that, I should say one important thing, which is it is so important, and one of the things that annoy me, like for a while we had the virtual schools, right? The virtual schools. We did everything on Zoom because of the virus. The virus was out there. So we did the homeschool learning system on Zoom, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic except for one thing. They didn't know how to set up the system so that you could get the teachers to not give the children homework. So they gave children homework, and then it was up to the parents or whoever was at home to teach the kids and help them with their homework, right? So you're going to have people of all kinds of different backgrounds, right? And some are going to be great at math. Some of them not going to be great at math. Some of them are going to be great at biology or at whatever, physics or whatever it is that they teach in schools these days, English. So there's going to be bits and pieces where the whoever's at home, the mother, the father, whoever is at home taking care of the kids, the nanny is going to have to take care of helping them with homework. And so they can only help them with the things that they actually know. The things that they don't know, they can't really help. And then the kid often ends up, crying because they need to get the work done. They don't know how to get it done. Or they may have other situations at home where the parent screams at the child because they don't have any patience. They're like, how come you don't understand this? I understand this so well. This is so easy. Why don't you get it? And stuff like that. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with our schools is that whether it's on virtual learning or in-class learning, we have so many resources today. So if you're going to give your students some homework to be done, you should send them home with some kind of whatever example of the homework that they have to do, like some in detail sample of what you're going to do. Like, for instance, if it's going to be about math, addition or something, maybe send them home with a video or two that they can watch off of the school website on how to do the homework that you set them to do at home. So at the very least, even if the parent is a little bit loopy and incapable of doing math, at least they have a some kind of reference to go on with which they can kind of like help their kid out to do stuff. But anyway, I as somebody who cried a lot when he was young, I'm manly enough to say that when I used to go to school when I was young and I had to do math homework and a bunch of other homework that I didn't really understand in class, because again, back in the day and back in Europe, especially in other places, Switzerland, they didn't understand what it means to have learning disabilities. Back in the day, everybody was normal. Suck it up. Just get on with it. They didn't know about dyslexia. They didn't know about any of that stuff. Just go to school. Just do your thing. Learning disabilities doesn't matter. You just have to know stuff, right? In the modern world, you have dyslexia. I remember later on in other schools, if you were diagnosed with dyslexia, at least they would allow you to use the computer instead of have to handwrite stuff. So modern schools helped out with that. Again, I was not diagnosed, so just suck it up and get on with things. I could have probably gotten way better scores in my English school in the British School of Milan if I had been diagnosed with dyslexia and other things. I could have gotten much better scores. I could have got like preferential treatment from all my disabilities. But I just sucked it up and just went through life the way that I did, which also obviously got me lower scores, to get into the higher education, and disasters like in the Phantom of Opera. But anyway, I digress. The whole point is one of the biggest disasters of sending kids home with homework is that a lot of kids struggle with certain things, and it would be way better. It would be way better if they were sent home and they were like tested at the end of class so that they knew for 100%, like 100% down, that they knew how to handle the homework that they had to do at home. And then that the school had good expectations and some kind of system in place to say, okay, kids, well, this is the kind of school homework, and this is how much time it should take you to do this homework. Don't spread it out so that you end up taking up your entire day to do like a book report or something like that. To set expectations and goals for children based on their abilities or disabilities, so that they have some kind of idea of what goals they're trying to meet. A lot of the time it's just go home and some kids will cry and they'll be on top of their papers and they'll think, oh, I can't do this. And my parents can't help me, or I don't want to ask my parents questions because they'll get angry with me, or whatever it is. And so they end up struggling like crazy. Yeah. Circle back to how I lived my life back in the day. Again, a lot of the times I wouldn't ask my parents for things because I knew it was going to be like a really long-winded thing. Some of the things that I was learning in higher education, they couldn't help me with anyway. So a lot of the times I had to rely on friends and other people in school, hang out and do and learn with them, because they were like, they would read a page and it was memorized, and they would read a page and it was memorized within one time that they read it, and I had to reread the same page 30 times. And by the 30th time, even if it was underlining things, even if I was writing down bits and pieces, because I would do all these different things, right? I would underline stuff in the books that I read. I would then also write down on separate pieces of paper the important bits and pieces so that I have my own notes. I would do all of this stuff. And even after doing like 30 times reading the same page and doing all that underlining and writing, I could still not memorize the things. And they would do it like one time. They didn't have to do all the other extra work. They might have done the other extra work just for fun, just to like keep records, keep things neat, and always have notes later on if they ever did want to look it up. But they would just read that page one time and it was memorized, and I had to do it 30 times. So anyway, those are my thoughts on schooling and the modern schooling. We have so many resources today. And one of the most amazing things about virtual learning was that the class was recorded. And so children and parents alike, at the very least, could go back and rewatch the live stream of the class. And so if there was something that they weren't sure how to do, they could go back and watch it. And make sure that their kids were taught the same way as the teacher. Because again, maybe you're from China, or maybe you're from Italy, or maybe you're from France, and you learn math a slightly different way. So now your child is learning whatever it is in America, and the methodologies that you were taught don't really apply to what is being taught right now. So even if you know how to do it your way, it's not the same way that is being taught in American schools. So now you can't help your children with it. And you're like frustrated, but we did it this way. Why is your teacher teaching it that way, right? Anyway. Things that nobody ever wants to talk about, like husbands and wives of the main alpha leader of the family unit being second-class citizens. And people don't know that, don't talk about that. But if you are, again, this is why I advocate for people, even if you do get married, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job. Whether you're a woman or a male, doesn't matter. Just keep going. Just keep having a job, because otherwise, in the U.S., at the very least, in the U.S., you are considered a second-class citizen. And there's so many things as a husband that you can't do in America, which you could do in a lot of other countries, because marriage doesn't count for much in America. Anyway, the things nobody else wants to talk about. Summary of opinions on the teaching of mainstream finance and investment management theory. Continued. So fundamentally correct, we're going to look at risk. So why is risk fundamentally correct? Risk is an important concept and as well understood, but many market events are completely unpredictable and escape risk measurement. Risk should be taught within the framework of mainstream theory. Okay, so that's why, excuse my humanity once more, I'm on a roll today. And I didn't eat any beans yesterday either, so I don't know what's going on. What's going on? All right, so risk and why is it fundamentally wrong but useful? So current market risk measures are inadequate in most cases. They miss extreme events. New risk measures that take into consideration, for example, fat tails should be taught. In addition, more attention should be given to credit and liquidity risk. Now, why is risk fundamentally wrong and useless? Current tools miss many important risk events, including systemic risk, geopolitical risk. Teaching should bring these risks to the forefront. Now we're going to look at crises. Why are crises fundamentally correct? Crises are generated by unpredictable exogenous events. Modern economies and market recover rapidly from crises, so the latter are not major subject for teaching. I'm gonna jump in here and say, in some cases, crises are created by our political leaders for their own benefits, like wars, like possibly, I don't know, releasing viruses that shouldn't be released, and all kinds of other things. And so therefore, crises can be produced and generated on purpose. We're just usually not aware of who did it when they did it. So we get blindsided. Anyway, crises. Why are they fundamentally wrong but useful? Crises are endogenous events caused by the accumulation of internal tensions, in particular, the excessive generation of money. The probability of crises can be assessed, and the dynamics of crises should be a fundamental part of the teaching for future investment professionals. So some people will say that inflation is a problem because if you give lots of money to everybody, then the people who don't know how to manage their money will just go out there and spend it all. And then the richer just get richer because in the end, they know how to manage their money. So they will just keep accumulating more because everybody who is paycheck to paycheck, if they have more money, they will buy things that they need for their house. All the stuff that they couldn't really afford under their current situation of being paycheck to paycheck is basically whatever they have, especially with gas prices being so high and taxes being so high, they basically have no leftovers for them to do anything fun in their lives. And so basically, when they do get some money from the government, they will splurge a little bit more, and all that money eventually goes into rich people's hands. So in a way, inflation makes people's lives better because they have more access to money, so they can do more with their lives. But at the same time, it just makes the richest richer. So that does not really evolve or improve the quality of the life of the people at the bottom as much as it should, because the idea would be to get them out of the current dead-end job and putting them into jobs that would generate more money so that the government wouldn't have to step in and bail them out. So I guess that's in a nutshell the crisis that we're going into, is because our system does not generate or create jobs that are decent and allow people to live decent lives. They're always stuck paycheck to paycheck, and they need the government to bail them out so that they can live dignified lives. So if we fix that, which is the root of the problem, we don't have to keep sending endless money into the system to bail those people out. And by the way, those people would be me. I would be one of those people. Anyway, even though today's mainstream thinking is likely to remain dominant for some time. At least as a framework, a rebalancing is going on. As discussed in upcoming chapters, educators are confronting the demand to broaden the curriculum and encourage critical out-of-the-box thinking. In that regard, the most recent financial crisis has had an impact. So one of the factors that people will have to be able to look into while they do all their finance stuff is watch politics closely to figure out who's screwing people the most. Just saying. Anyway, I've been jabbering like a jabberbox for a long time. We're just going to go into a couple of these things here. We talked about investment management, a science to teach or an art to learn. And there's nothing I can do, guys. There's nothing I can do. If only I could be Jesus for a day. If I could be Jesus for a day, trust me, I would fix the world pretty fast. I would fix it pretty fast. But I'm not Jesus. I can't be Jesus for a week. And so I can't fix the world and make it a better place. Only you can. Only you can. Only you can do the can. Anyway. Strawberry Daiquiri. What book is this? It is Voglia di cucinare, which means the want to cook. Do you want to cook? That's literal translation. But anyway, the love and the want to cook. Voglia di cucinare. Anyway. Cocktail classici e esotici giunti Demetra, which is a funny thing. It must be some kind of collaboration between Russia and Italy to make this book. You never know, right? Some call me the Russian spy. The Russian spy. Oh, gosh darn it. Big shout out to Crazy Russian Dad and Eli the computer guy. Eli the computer guy. Anyway, he is doing what we've all wished we could have done. I tried so hard to create three businesses. One, I was 15 grand short. It's too late to do it now. Some other people have already created the idea that I wanted to create. It's not exactly the way I wanted to create it, but it wouldn't really matter. It wouldn't really matter at this point. Because the cat is out of the bag, right? The cat is out of the bag. Other people are doing it and doing it better. Maybe not better. They're just doing it. So for me to bring out the same product, the Bumpaflex today, would be, I don't know, if it would serve any purpose, or they would just shut it down. They probably should shut it down. They don't want people to be safer in their cars. They want you to crash so that you have to go through the insurance and all that, and that creates business, you know. Anyway, the three businesses that I screwed up, that I burned to the ground. That Marvimation company that was supposed to create cool jobs for everybody. Cool jobs. It was supposed to eventually make enough money for me to have employees that I could pay. And some of them did get paid, but not nearly enough as they deserved to get paid. But, you know, when you have limited resources, you can only pay the people that you have working for you as much as you can. And again, 50 or like $100 per 3D model is not much. Is not much, guys. Again, that's what I was getting paid. At Ghost Rabbit Entertainment, a Sean Spitzer company. Anyway, guys. So, yeah. Companies that I created with an idealist goal of making the world a better place and making more artists, whether in fashion, in the creation of fashion, in the creation of video games, or, you know, YouTube kind content like cartoons, stuff like that. All that stuff. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create businesses where I could pay people to do great stuff, and we would rule the world, not one robot at a time. I wasn't into tech as much back then. We would rule the world, creating fun stuff for you to wear, for you to 3D print, for you to watch, all that good stuff. Anyway, Hollywood Disney magic. Let's do that. Strawberry daiquiri. Strawberry daiquiri. Strawberry daiquiri. I don't know how you would say that in Italian. Strawberry daiquiri? Probably. Strawberry daiquiri. Love it. Ingredienti: 6 decimi rum bianco, 3 decimi liquore di fragola, 1 decimo succo di limone o di lime, 3 fragole. Nel blender frullare ad alta velocità tutti gli ingredienti con del ghiaccio e scaglie e versare non filtrato, preferibilmente in un bicchiere old fashioned. Decorare con una fragola fresca e una cannuccia corta. La ricetta originale non lo prevede, ma se gradito, preparare i bicchieri con la crosta di zucchero. I think it meant crosta di zucchero. Anyway, that means crust of sugar. So around the cup, you could crust it up with sugar. That's the idea. For some reason, it says crusta instead of crosta. Crosta is crust. Crusta is, I don't know, a misprint. Si tratta di un after dinner che tuttavia può essere servito anche come pre-dinner. So basically, this is supposed to be an after dinner thing, but you can pre-dinner it. You can pre-dinner it so you can serve it before dinner too. It is at your own discretion if they would. We're gonna go into Trinidad. Apparently, Trinidad is a trifecta of dads. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, it is a drink. I didn't know. It's also a place, I believe. Velvet Hammer, Vodkatini, and we won't go into the next one because it's kind of racist, but maybe we will go into the next one. But it's not me being racist. It's the name of the drink, so please don't crap can this channel or anything. I'm not being racist. It is what the racist people call some ladies, and this is it's gonna be the white lady. But it also has a white Russian. It also has a white spider, which in turn cannot be racist. But it is racist if you call a lady a white lady, so don't do that. Anyway, so I hope the channel doesn't get crap canned. But anyway, it's about drinks and cocktails. So whoever is rereading the text that is being generated by my voice, know that this is not a racist thing. It is just cocktails that are being served in Italian of all things. Anyway, Trinidad may actually be the coolest dad of them all. Anyway, so ingredienti: 4 decimi vodka Kegleveich, 2 decimi Contrio, 2 decimi dry vermouth, dry vermouth, 1 decimo succo d'arancia, 1 decimo succo d'ananas, 1 spicchio d'ananas. Preparare miscelando direttamente con lo stirrer nei tumbler alti con abbondante ghiaccio. Decorare ciascun bicchiere con uno spicchio d'ananas e servire con 2 cannucce. That's pretty fun. Velvet Hammer. Ingredienti: mezzo Contrio, mezzo liquore al caffè, 1 cucchiaio di crema. Si prepara nello shaker con del ghiaccio e si serve nella doppia coppetta da cocktail senza guarnizioni. We have the vodkatini, 4 quinti vodka, 1 quinto vermouth dry. Si prepara nel mixing glass con ghiaccio cristallino e si versa filtrato in una coppetta da cocktail con una spirale di scorza di limone. So those were the Trinidad, the Velvet Hammer, and the Vodkatini. Now we're going to talk about what the racist people call the White Lady, the White Russian, and the White Spider. Let's start with what the racist people call the White Lady. Ingredienti: 6 decimi gin, 3 decimi contrio, 1 decimo succo di limone. Si prepara nello shaker con cubetti di ghiaccio cristallino e si serve nella coppetta da cocktail. Then we're going to go to the White Russian. Mezza vodka, mezzo liquore al caffè, crema di latte. Preparare versando direttamente nel bicchiere Old Fashioned vodka e liquore al caffè con ghiaccio cristallino. Versare in una superficie la crema di latte facendola scorrere sul dorso di un cucchiaio. White Spider is the last one on this one. Mezza vodka, mezza crema di menta bianca. Si serve in un bicchiere Old Fashioned con alcuni cubetti di ghiaccio cristallino. And they have beautiful leaf here. There's a beautiful leaf here, which I'm not sure what that is. It could be, let's see. Cristallino. I think it's supposed to be either eucalyptus or it could be, I would say menta. You can Google that and see if your Italian got any better today. It probably hasn't, but if it did, you can thank me for that. And someday when we go through more of the Ponti from De Santi's Ponti di Pilo, when we get through that book over there, maybe you can go back and rewatch this one and see if you understand everything that I said. Because you might. You never know. We have motif here. An Introduction to French, 3rd edition. Let's take a quick look here at some of the French. Jump into the French here. Activité 7. Écoutez votre professeur. Oui, est sur l'image. Oui, est-ce que votre professeur décrit? Modèle, professeur. C'est une vieille femme avec les cheveux gris. Elle est un peu forte et elle porte des lunettes. Oui, est-ce? Étudiante, c'est Madame Vincent. La description de la personnalité. Comment est-il? Moi, je suis solitaire, assez optimiste et très patient. So the exercise is asking you to basically read this bit and figure out who this guy or this girl is describing in the example, right? So it says, c'est une vieille femme avec les cheveux gris. In American, this is probably something you wouldn't be able to say politically correctly. So basically the description is, it is an old lady with gray hair. That's the description here. Anyway, you can't really say that in modern American, at the very least. Elle est un peu forte et elle porte des lunettes. Where the heck did it go? So she's strong. And what the heck is going on? She's wearing glasses. So the idea is you look through this picture over here and you have to figure out who it is. And there she is right there. So it's just basically a description of her right there. She's a strong old lady with gray hair and wearing glasses, apparently. But for some reason, it also says little, because maybe she is short. I don't know. It's a French workbook. Okay, they don't see things the way that Americans see things. It's not my fault. It's written here in the book. Okay, don't crucify me. Don't smite me. Don't smite me. It's not my fault. It's what it says in the book. Anyway, so activité 8, comment est-ce? Or comment es-tu? Poser des questions à une camarade de classe, une ou un ou une, depending if it's a male or a female. If it's a male, it's going to be un. If it's a female, it's going to be une. Camarade de classe à propos de sa personnalité. So you're looking into their personality or their onlook. It says modèle optimiste. Tu es optimiste? Oui, je suis assez optimiste. Timide, tu es timide? Non, je suis pas très timide. So it's just asking you, are you an optimist? And she says, yes, I am quite optimistic. She doesn't say just optimistic. Because if she wanted to say optimistic, she'd say, oui, je suis optimiste. But she says assez. So not as much as she could be. Otherwise, she would have said très optimiste, which is very optimist. Timide, are you shy? So it says, tu es timide? Non, je ne suis pas timide. And in this case, she used très, which is, I am not very shy, I am sort of shy. In this case, it means I am sort of shy, not very shy. Idealiste, sympathique, timide, sociable, sérieux, nerveux, fatigué, patiente, or patient. In some of these, you have to add the E. Fatigué has a double E for girls, I think, and patiente has a E at the end of the word for the girls, I think. This is one of the things that is so difficult for dyslexic people to do, which is why my written French was never as good as my spoken French, was never good as my ability to comprehend what you were saying in the movies or when people speak to me in French. But my written part was never good because of my dyslexia. Again, never diagnosed, so I had to suck it up. Just suck it up and pretend to be normal. That was my life. Anyway, activité 9, test. Oui, yes. Lisez les descriptions et identifiez les personnages célèbres. So the idea is to read the description and identify the people who are celebrities. We have, yes, you've guessed it, Madonna's been in the news, even on Valuetainment as of recent days. She wants to go back to being like a virgin. We won't say the next bit because it could be mildly inappropriate for audiences in this particular video. We keep that stuff for the naughty websites that I'm on. I am man enough to say that I'm on the naughty websites trying to make a buck. Anyway, gosh darn it. Anyway, creating comedy, adult entertainment, adult entertainment. Words that I would have never spoken ever. But you can't be a postman because they won't let you be a postman. So you gotta make money somehow, right? Otherwise, America considers you to be a second-class citizen. You have to make money. So adult entertainment comedy was not the first thing that I was ever gonna think of doing until I discovered. Anyway. So it says, Madonna, Gérard Depardieu, Céline Dion, Mike Myers, which doesn't sound very French, Catherine Deneuve, Shaquille O'Neal, yo, what's up, Shaq? Anyway, Michel Cousteau, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hanks. All right, cool. So anyway, it's going to ask you, qui est? Who the heck is that person there? And then we're going to read the description of the people. So we need to figure out who it is based on the description. Let's figure this out. C'est un acteur canadien qui joue le rôle principal dans Austin Powers. 1997. And again, when I'm gonna say numbers, if I ever read numbers, it's gonna be the Swiss way. I do not do the 80, whatever the 80,000, whatever weird thing going on, or 820s. I don't know. I don't do that. I don't do that crap. I learned my French in Switzerland. We don't do weird stuff like that. And I don't do mathematics well. So it's in 1999 et 2002. Il est petit et il n'est pas très beau. Il est comique. So this is really fantastic. So what it's saying here is, again, this is very not politically correct. Again, the France can still talk like this, but the Americans can't when they describe people. So it is a Canadian actor who plays the principal role in Austin Powers. He is short or small, petite, and he's not very good looking. He's a comedian. So let's see who the heck that is supposed to be. What? Is it Madonna? Is it Gérard Depardieu? Is it Celine Dion? Is it Shaquille O'Neal? Is it Catherine Deneuve? Is it Tom Hanks? Is it Oprah Winfrey? Is it Michel Cousteau? Is it Mike Myers? I couldn't... Does it have Mike? I have to go back and check it. Do we even have Mike Myers' picture in here? I don't know. Do we have... I don't really know. I don't really know. I couldn't help you with this one. But if you are a Hollywood Disney Magic enthusiast, you will have the answer to this, and you can help me out in the comments and write down the which one you think it was out of the ones that I just mentioned. Let's go to the next one. C'est une chanteuse et danseuse très célèbre qui influence sa génération. Elle est blonde et d'un certain âge, pas très jeune, mais pas vieille. This is gonna spark some. The feminists are gonna be all over this one. Elle n'est pas du tout timide. C'est une femme provocatrice. C'est la material girl. All right. So anyway, we guys know who this is, just by hearing the last bit in parentheses. Material girl. Everybody knows the song. It must be Madonna. But let's see how they describe her in this French book, which the feminists are not going to like and is really not very politically correct. So it is a singer or vocalist and dancer who is very famous, based on what it says. He's so très célèbre, and who has influenced a whole generation, or her generation. She is blonde. Elle est blonde. Et d'un certain âge, of a certain age being that she is not elderly, but, further on in her age. But it also says pas très jeune, not very young either. But also they just got that foot so far up their mouth that they can't stop. They just keep going. So it says mais pas vieille, but not old. So based on whenever this book was read, and was written anyway. Elle n'est pas du tout timide. She is not shy. C'est une femme provocatrice. It's a woman who is very provocative, if you will. C'est la material girl. It is the material girl from the song. So we know it's Madonna. Let's go to number 3. C'est une femme noire de Chicago. Elle est jolie mais un peu forte. Elle a une émission à la télévision qui est très populaire, surtout avec les femmes. Excuse my humanity again. C'est aussi une actrice. Elle est idéaliste et très riche. So, it goes, c'est une femme noire de Chicago. So it is a lady which the racist would call black. So it is what the racists call a black lady, okay, from Chicago. Elle est jolie mais un peu forte. She is pretty but a little strong, which probably means she is overweight based on what they're trying to say here. I guess that's what they meant by forte. I don't know. Or strong. I think it probably means overweight based on what they say here in this. Il a une émission. The politically correct word for fat, I guess, in French is forte. That's what I am implying here and what I seem to be deducing from the text. Elle est une émission à la télévision. So she has a television program that is very popular, très populaire, surtout avec les femmes, especially with women. C'est aussi une actrice. She's also an actress. Elle est idéaliste et très riche. So she's idealistic and very rich. I think it's pretty easy to say that this could be Oprah Winfrey. Let's see number 4. C'est un océanographe français. Il fait des documentaires sur l'océan pour la télévision. C'est le fils d'un autre océanographe célèbre. Okay, so it is he is an oceanographer in French, and he makes documentaries on the ocean. So it's like that. Chasing Coral was a good one on Netflix. For television programming or whatever. I don't know if he does Netflix. Maybe some of his things are on Netflix today. C'est le fils d'un autre océanographe. So basically, he's also the son of another oceanographer before him. So he continued on the family tradition of oceanography. So let's see, who the heck is this guy? I don't know, to be honest. Can I be honest? This is another one I won't be able to really tell you who it is. I don't think it's Tom Hanks for sure. It's not Oprah Winfrey. We know who that one is. And we know it's not Catherine Deneuve because that's lady and this is a boy. It's not Shaquille O'Neal. It's not Celine Dion. It's not Gérard Depardieu because I know that guy. And it's not Madonna. So it could be Mike Myers or it could be Michel Cousteau. We don't, or I don't know. It's one of those two. Now we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite actors of all time. But let's just say it in French first. C'est un acteur français célèbre aux États-Unis pour les films Green Card, 1990, et Man in the Iron Mask, 1907. Il est grand et un peu forte avec les cheveux assez longs. Okay, so they really describe him poorly. They don't talk about all the cool features that this guy has. For some reason, they're just brutal in this French book. They're so brutal. So, c'est un acteur français. So, it's a French actor, célèbre aux États-Unis, so famous in the United States, pour les films. So for these two movies, Green Card and Man in the Iron Mask. So one is in 1990, was made in 1990. The other one in 1997. So il est grand, so he is big, et un peu fort, and a little fat, avec les cheveux assez longs. So they tell me he could be a little grizzly. I don't know if that's true. But if you guys want to check out Eli the Computer Guy, he's got many channels, one of which is Eli the Computer Guy. Then he's got the Daily Blob, and my favorite these days, it's finally reached 1,000 subscribers, but it will go way further than that, hopefully. It is E.T., like the galactic E.T. phone home, and CG like computer graphics, but that's all in one word, So ETCG, and then space, experiments. Anyway, cool stuff, guys. Cool stuff, guys. I digress. That was a little plug-in for Eli the Computer Guy. The one guy with Lewis, together with Louis Rossmann, that isn't just talking the talk, is walking the walk and creating some amazing educational stuff, which is free to the end user, but is not free. So send him a couple of dollars in his donor box to make some really cool education happen in real life, not in VR, not in video games, in real life. In where's his talks about Kakalaki something. Anyway, check it out. You'll find it. He says it at the beginning of his every video pretty much. So go check it out. Going back to C'est un acteur français. They're not nice to Gérard Depardieu, one of my absolute favorite actors ever to live. There he is. Look. He's handsome, but they're not very nice to him. He says that he's grizzly. And might I say fat, but he's not really. He's still toned and strong. Anyway, he was also in Le Cyrano de Bergerac. Anyway, so this is where we're going to end this part here. Perspectives. We're going to go into perspective culturelle tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. It has been over 86 minutes of me jabbering away. Oh, I'm so pesky. Oh, I'm so conniving. Oh, I'm so marker reviews. The audience has left me. Because I'm so conniving. Son of a gunny. And son of a gunny. I am so son of a gunny. I'm so son of a gunny that I'm in this poster. Look at this. It's so cool. Look at all the cool things that I've done. I've been on so many different platforms. But today we'll just show you some other awesome YouTube channels. Why not? My dad made a couple of YouTube channels back in the day. He's got one subscriber, Bio3 Research SRL. One subscriber. He was creating all kinds of pharmaceuticals that were supposed to save lives. He was a real entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. And yeah. I don't think the world really treated him the way that he deserved to be treated. But at the same time, unlike me, he burned bridges left and right. So unlike me, he was not as nice to other people as I am. But anyway, Takashi Oyama. Let's go give him a good shout out, Takashi Oyama. We have Tia Metamorphosis. So Takashi Oyama, if you guys don't know, has a really cool YouTube channel where he does FPV drones and stuff, and he does all these cool maneuvers that I could never do. I could do that in a simulator, but I would never test them out in real life because I would destroy all my quads. So I'm not doing that. Then we have Tia Metamorphosis, is an artist. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, go check it out. We've had Lucy Meow, if you want to look at real estate here in Irvine, California, and California in general. We have RC Life On, makes amazing stuff with 3D printing and building stuff. He just builds stuff that is amazing. We have another one of my dad's old YouTube accounts. 5 subscribers only. Francesco Paolo Pilato. Can you believe that? Francesco Paolo Pilato. Anyway. Then we have Frank Pilato, another somebody from our family tree. He's a guitarist. I don't know if it's a bass or electric guitar, but it's amazing. So go check out his channel. We have Skritter. Apparently it's a system that allows you to learn languages pretty quickly. We have Jana. Man, I've never seen anybody drum like that girl drums. It is so cool. It's infectious, if you will. If you start watching her videos, you're like, yeah, whoa, you just want to shake your body to the beat. It's amazing. Jana, Junna. Who else we got? We got Ashley Lawless. Beautiful voice. She sings, but some people don't like her for some reason. I don't know. Stop being mean, Ashley Lawless. We've got Blogalatis. If you guys want to check out some amazing products that actually sell and that are actually in Target. Not all Targets, but you can go check out our channels to find out. It's all about the yoga. It's all about the stay fit lifestyle. Blogalatis. It's blogs, but it's Pilates and other things. Very interesting. Very well set up for the marketing. We have Veganese. If you guys want to learn how to cook vegan stuff, it's for everybody. Literally. Everybody. Except possibly gluten-free, because gluten-free is... Man, have you tried gluten-free? I can't try gluten-free. Gluten-free or gluten-free is impossible for me. Crazy Russian Dad is fun for everyone. If you want to learn how to speak Russian English, that's the place to go. Then I am Kawahi. I'm gonna let you read it because I don't want to say it too wrongly. But man, have you ever seen a channel do music the way she does music with technology? I haven't. It is fantastic. It's so cool. It's like the robot. She's basically like a robot, but she can walk around town with all this technology and make beautiful music. It's so cool. Young 360 does awesome drone reviews. Go check her out. But then we have that Ryan Freeman. He's a free man, and now he is in Taiwan, the land of the Zen that is no more. It was the Taiwanese TikTok. It's gone. What else we got? We got Damari Dendi. Damari Dendi is another young reviewer that for some reason YouTube will not bless with love. Why not, YouTube? Maybe the new CEO, who's completely trudging in the mud here, messing up YouTube, might finally give him a chance. Shyla Foxlin, awesome. She's the first lady to ever, I don't know if it's Shyla or Xyla, Foxlin. Anyway, awesome channel. She's the first lady to ever send a tiara into space. Awesome. Cool. Go check it out. We have Davey504. Does not need to be mentioned because he's already got a, what do you call it? The platinum? Is it platinum? Play button? Anyway. He is the Sylvester Stallone of the bass. The bass. No trouble. Just the bass. We've got Cheap Lazy Vegan. Awesome vegan stuff. If you guys want to check out the vegan lifestyle. She travels everywhere. Oh my gosh, the battery of the phone is dead. What the heck is going on? It's dead. It's dying. Give it something. Okay, give it something. The battery was dying there. We had every day we have new technical issues here. Anyway, we're talking about Cheap Lazy Vegan in case it just died and you guys didn't get that bit. You guys want to check out the vegan cheap lifestyle. Cheap Lazy Vegan is awesome. She travels all over the world and shows you cuisine that is just so yummy. What else we got? We got Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele does awesome things with quads that you wouldn't believe. Amazing. Then we've got that Louis Rossman fighting for the right to repair. Something that I care about because I like to live a life which is simplified. As in, I like to repair stuff myself. And I don't want to always send all my products, ship them off back to the factory to have them fixed. I like to fix my technology at home. And the right to repair is such an important thing. It's one more of those rights, American rights, that is going away. Anyway. What are you going to do? Politics, right? Linus Tech has some fun stuff sometimes not so much. I'm just kidding. It's another reviewer channel that is pretty cool. Some people have issues with it because it makes so much money. That's why it is. Anyway, Alicia Mao, awesome channel. Also for reviews, drones, helicopters. He's got the moves He's got the moves like Jagger when it comes to helicopters. It is fantastic what he does with helicopters. Go check it out. And all of his reviews, he does all kinds of things, including robots sometimes. Takashi Oyama, oh, we talked about him already. But we'll talk about him again because it's an awesome channel that doesn't get enough subscribers. Let's go and subscribe to Takashi Oyama. This guy right here, Takashi Oyama. Let's go. We have Julio's George Obos with some very nice music that is just not talked about enough. He makes amazing vocals, amazing vocals. Ruru Miki, if you guys love to play video games but you don't have time, you can check out her walkthroughs. Fun walkthroughs for everyone. Very family friendly. There's no like weird, you know, if you're worried about your kids watching them, this is one of the channels you don't have to worry about your kids watching because it is low-key and family friendly. OC Rocks USA, another fun channel. And they sent me a rock. They sent me a rock, which was awesome. Who else do we have here today? A lot. We have Ken Heron, and sometimes he'll do videos with, oh, gosh darn it. Guys, I'm going to have to end the live here. Because the phone is dead. The battery is so dead that it won't even let me do something without it constantly tripping in and out. It's tripping. So I'm going to continue on with this thing next time. I've got to do some flights today. Not flights, hovers. I'm not allowed to fly certain drones, but I'm allowed to hover them. Or so they say. So with that, guys, thank you so much for dropping by and watching all a million of you, of course. Because one person is worth a million sometimes in the world of YouTube. But anyway, I may start using Eli, the computer guy's latest and greatest technology. He's created a platform that allows you, for people who like to talk to themselves, like me. I step in front of the camera and then I speak to millions of myselves. I just duplicated myself in space. Talk to myself times a million. Anyway, with that said, guys, your little crabby friend, that'd be me, the cancerous world, infamous Pesky Marker Reviews is going to say goodbye today and goodbye for now. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.